cool. Last one. We've got a mystery on our hands, boys. Clappies. The missing 411 mystery. The missing 44. Oh, hold on. Blah, 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 stroke. The solution. The final solution. The missing 411 mystery has a solution. You won't like it. There we go. I managed. Almost said something. A little bit not too kosher there, but anyways.
On June 14th, 1969, the Martin family was on a camping trip in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park in Tennessee, along with another family they were friends with. There were
two
four
families
of them.
in a plane,
William
right?
Martin, his father Clyde Martin, and his two sons Douglas and 6-year-old Dennis.
All right.
At one point on the trip, the other family was returning from a hike, and when they could hear them coming,
Oh, so it wasn't a plane. It was just... They were just hiking. Okay.
Dennis decided he wanted to play a little prank. So he ran down the trail a little bit and hid in the woods so he could jump out and surprise him. 5 minutes or so passed and the other family came walking into the camp, but Dennis wasn't with them. When asked, they said they never saw him. William and Douglas immediately went looking for Dennis, but he was nowhere to be found. They searched down the trail for up to 2 miles.
Never go off on your own when you're in the middle of the woods, pal. It's just asking for trouble.
Looking into the woods and calling his name the whole way, but he was just gone. After hours of searching, they sought help from the park rangers, but by the end of the day, there was still no trace of Dennis. In the following days and weeks,
What actually happened to Dennis was he became a moderator for my Discord.
everyone from the National Guard to the Green Berets to the Boy Scouts joined in the search. Over 1,400 volunteers helped scour a 50-square-mile area of the park.
That's a
and
lot
one
of
the largest
volunteers.
missing persons hunts in history up to that point. But despite all of that, Dennis Martin was never seen again.
Oh,
The Dennis Martin story is one of hundreds of stories of people disappearing in national parks across the United States, so much so that the phenomenon has a name. Missing 411. So today we're going to examine a few stories from the
I thought Missing 411 was like a plane number.
411 archive and see exactly what's going on here. We'll take a look at some of the theories around it, and I'll, chime in on what I think is happening.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. All right, let's hear. Nice YouTube play buttons.
Some of you may not like it.
I think I like it. I like the mysteries. Answers with Joe Pod.
Many of you, I'm sure, are familiar
Mama.
with Missing 411. It gets requested a lot on this channel. It's fairly popular on Reddit and YouTube, and there are some interesting theories around it, which we'll get into. The term itself was coined by author and former police officer David Paulides, who wrote a series of books on what he believes is
Damn, that guy's nose.
the pattern of mysterious disappearances in wilderness areas. Now, there are a lot of missing persons cases. They're not uncommon. In fact, they're kind of disturbingly common. Around 600,000 people are reported missing in the United
What? Like there's just casually 500,000 people in the US just go poof every year? What? What's going on in the US, bros?
States every year, which is insane.
I do wonder how many of them get found again, but still, it's crazy.
But missing 411 cases are different. These are ones that specifically happen in like wilderness areas and national parks, and they often have weird circumstances that defy explanation. Like places where people go to hike and camp and fish. Water is actually a
Bigfoot
pretty
caught?
common theme on these things.
Bro, you gotta bring out the miniguns, you gotta hunt down Bigfoot.
And they do
Got 'em
seem to
down.
cluster around specific places like Yosemite and the Grand Canyon. Sometimes these people disappear and no trace of them is ever found. Sometimes remains are found years later, but they're like nowhere near where they vanished. And sometimes remains appear, but they show up in places that were already thoroughly searched beforehand. And every once in a while, someone will be found alive, but they're in a peculiar physical or mental state, often with no memory of what happened to them. But the cases do seem to have what I can only describe as a unifying strangeness to them, which has led to all kinds of theories and speculation. Some of them are reasonable, and some are
A little bit of crackpot.
pretty out there.
Aliens. Oh, damn it. Bro, the History Channel with their ancient aliens was such crackpot nonsense. And I hate
There's far too
it, but I knew at least 2 people who were as whack job as those guys.
much for me to cover in one video, and there's no shortage of
The
content
moment
on
someone
YouTube
mentions the Anunnaki and NK and Enlil, bro, you just walk out the door. They're complete
about
crackpots.
this. I could point you to the Lore Lodge and Coast to Coast AM if you really want to go down the rabbit hole, but today I'm just going to focus on a few of them and let you decide. Let's start with the case that I've already mentioned, that of Dennis Martin, or Denny to his family. 55 years later, this case still has plenty of unanswered questions. Questions like, how does a healthy 6-year-old vanish so close to a busy campsite?
Oh, damn, it was 6?
And so quickly.
I think they mentioned that earlier.
And so quietly. How can more than 1,400 volunteers, including Green Berets and even Boy Scouts, fail to find any trace of him? Well, it turns out there was actually one possible trace. There was a set of footprints that they found that they think belonged to Denny. The prints were the right size to be Denny's, and they also resembled the tread of the shoes that Denny was wearing. But the tracks contained one shoe print and one barefoot.
Maybe he lost his shoe.
Definitely suggested the person who made those tracks was in potential trouble. Hiking with only one shoe on is not exactly a common thing. But the officials at the time thought that the tracks belonged to one of the searchers who were looking for Denny, so they didn't give it much attention at the moment. Probably a mistake, but all these years later, it's kind of impossible to know. Another possible bit of evidence came out way later when a guy who was illegally hunting ginseng claimed to have found a child-sized skeleton in the area, but when the
Oh, geez, that's scary. Poor Denny.
officials went looking for it, the remains were gone. But I mean, this guy didn't come forward with that until 1985. Apparently he was afraid of being prosecuted for illegal ginseng hunting. I guess, is that a big deal?
What actually is ginseng? I think, judging from the picture here, it's probably a type of root. Does it have any special properties? Can it be used as an ingredient in Schedule 1?
Now, as for other evidence, there probably could have been a lot more out there, but there just happened to have been a rainstorm the night after it disappeared that might have washed it away. Now, a big part of the problem with Denny's disappearance is actually the massive scale of the
Food and
search
stuff?
effort
Oh,
itself.
okay.
I mean,
Do you know what he should have done? He should have... Oh, wait, no, the internet didn't exist back then. It was back in the 80s. I was going to say, this was like modern day stuff. Take all the pictures of the crime scene, you know, quote unquote, upload it to 4chan. Guaranteed it'll be found within 2 days.
1,400 people is a lot.
I've heard stories of 4chan people finding missing persons. And just investigating stuff. It's pretty wild.
People. And many of those people were untrained volunteers who didn't, know what to look for or how to maintain the integrity of the search area. Like any footprints that might have survived that rainstorm were probably stomped all over by the 1,400 people looking for them. The Park Service actually changed their search protocols after the Denny Martin disappearance for this very reason. That did not, unfortunately, put an end to people going missing in national parks.
Sad.
In July of 2015, another child went missing from a campsite in Idaho.
Why is it
This
always
one's
little kids? No, not the babies.
name was Dior Coons Jr., and it was actually
Okay, I know it's pretty sad and tragic what happened to him, but what kind of a name is Dior Kunz Jr.? It's like I asked ChatGPT to spit out random letters.
featured in the documentary about Missing 411 by David Paulides and his son Ben. There have been a few of these documentaries by now. This was the first one that came out in 2016. The story goes that 2-year-old Dior Coons Jr. vanished from a campsite near Timber Creek Campground near Leodore, Idaho in July of 2015. Dior's parents, Burl Coons and Jessica Mitchell, took him on an impromptu camping trip along with
Like,
Jessica's
these people all have normal names. Why'd they call his son Dior?
grandpa Robert Walton and
So
a friend of
weird.
Robert's, a guy named Isaac Reinwand. So according to their story, after they set up camp, Vernal and Jessica went out to a nearby store for supplies, and then upon returning, they all decided to walk down to a creek to check out a spot for fishing.
Okay.
All of them except Grandpa Bob. He was 76 years old, he was on oxygen, his health wasn't great, so he chose
So
to
naturally
stay behind.
he'd stay.
Initially, Dior
Okay.
started down the path with his parents, but then he decided he wanted to stay with Grandpa, so Jessica sent him running back up the short path to Robert.
I never do that. Nah, if they're that young, no, you walk them there to Grandpa's.
Shouted at him to let him know that Dior was coming his way. After scouting the river for a short amount of time, in some retellings they said it was only 5 minutes, in others they said 15 to 20, Jessica says that she found a fish in the river that she thought Dior would like, so she walked back up the path to where Grandpa Bob was. But when she got there,
Hey,
not only was
Fasali,
she
welcome,
surprised
man.
to not see Dior, but Grandpa Bob claimed that he never came back. Somehow, in the literal handful of seconds that he was out of eyesight on that path back to Grandpa, Dior Coons disappeared. And he was never seen again.
Damn,
An
that's so
extensive
scary.
modern search was conducted, but
I can never imagine being a parent and just like losing a child like that. Oh, that must be so traumatizing. Like, not just like, like the pain of losing your child, but that immense guilt you feel for the rest of your life of not watching them as they go back to wherever. I cannot imagine just the sheer amount of trauma that must cause. But look at bro's face. Bro is devastated.
no trace of Dior was ever found. No body, no clothing, and no boots. I bring up the boots because Isaac told investigators that Dior's boots were way too big for him and ill-fitting, meaning that, well, a couple of things. One, he wouldn't be able to move very fast and probably couldn't have gotten very far with those boots on. And also, if somebody or something picked him up, those boots probably would have fallen off. Not to mention, nobody heard any screaming or distress if he had been picked up by a person or an animal. For all intents and purposes, it's like Dior Coons just vanished off the face of the earth. And to this
That's
day,
scary.
nobody's figured out why. One last story I'll
Saddies.
cover here, thankfully doesn't involve a child, but it's pretty famous on the internet and YouTube, and that's the story of Kenny Veach. Not only was Kenny not a child, he was also an experienced hiker who regularly traveled the Nevada desert. Occasionally, he would document this on his YouTube channel under the name Snakebit McGee. To be clear, he wasn't like a full-time YouTuber or anything. He mostly made videos about inventions he wanted to get on Shark Tank. But 10 years ago, he shared a story in the comments of somebody else's video that sparked a lot of debate. His claim was that he had recently found a cave in the deserts outside Las Vegas that seemed to emanate some kind of strange energy or vibration that he couldn't explain. As tends to happen in comment sections, people called his bluff and asked him for his location, asked him for proof, but he couldn't provide any.
Always use the buddy system?
The exact
Yes. Always going 2x2s. 3x3s is even better.
Location of this cave, which of course led many of them to call him a liar. What he did remember vividly was that the opening of the cave was shaped like the letter M. Yes, the infamous M-shaped cave. That argument in the comment section is sadly no longer available, but Kenny was determined to go back to the cave with a video camera and prove him wrong. And on October 18th of 2014, he did exactly that.
Okay, what happened? So this is actual footage of him?
Well, here I am. And I'm looking for a cave that I found, and I didn't have a sidearm when I was here before, and something about that cave just spooked me. Out of all the caves I've ever gone in, this one just made my body vibrate. The closer I got to it, the crazier my body felt.
Maybe it was just a rave party and they had subwoofers.
I was like, all right, I'm not gonna go in there right now, but I'm coming back someday.
A good idea. You brought a firearm. You never know what's down there. Just in case, boys.
Find it. It's shaped like a big M. It's a big cave that looks just like a gigantic M. And it's about as tall as I am, and kind of narrow.
M for missing.
Throughout the rest of the video, which has now racked up 3.6 million views, Kenny walks the Mojave Desert looking for the cave. And while he finds other caves, and previous mines and man-made structures, and mountain goats, and tortoises, and edible desert nuts, he never crosses paths with the M cave. Obviously, this didn't help his case with the skeptics, but he remained undeterred, and he avowed in a comment that he was going to go out there again, this time for a whole weekend. He was going to find this cave. That comment was the last thing the internet heard from Kenny Veach. At the time of this video, Kenny Veach has been missing for just over 10 years.
Wow, so that was like, what, 2015? I wonder if he ever actually went out there. Maybe he just had a heart attack and died or something.
Here's what we know. On November 10th, Kenny told his family he was going out for a short overnight trip.
Okay.
And then he never came back.
Dang.
Authorities were contacted and a search began. On November 22nd, his cell phone was found, and it was actually sitting on the platform of that very mine shaft where he recorded that video.
Maybe he fell down.
Searchers looked inside the mine, thinking, maybe he had fallen in there, but he wasn't there. Not him, none of his clothes or equipment. In fact, no other trace of him was ever found.
I mean, I feel like if he fell down, you probably would have seen bloodstains or a buddy.
Interestingly, his video camera was found back at his home, which is actually kind of strange considering the whole reason he was going out there was to find proof of that cave. But the strangeness of that original comment, along with the strangeness of his disappearance, not to mention the fact that he was fairly close to Area 51.
Caves are notoriously dangerous, and there's so many stories of people going missing and never being found. Yep. Caves are dangerous. It's just hiking in like mountainous areas in general is pretty dangerous. I heard a case of this one guy who had to saw off his own arm with his like pocket knife or something just to escape because a boulder fell on it. Woo! I ain't never going solo.
It's led to a lot of speculation. In fact, the original comment that he left about that cave was in reference to someone's story about Area 51. So while his disappearance was mysterious, there's no mystery why this story has become one of the most popular internet mysteries of all time. Mysteries are fun. I like mysteries. Do you like mysteries?
I do.
So I've covered a lot of mysteries on this channel, and if you'll forgive me for veering off topic for just a second, there's this project that I've been working on for like well over a year now, and I'm really excited to finally make it public. It is a book. It is the first book of this channel, and it's a book of mysteries, and it's called The Answers with Joe Book of Mysteries.
Oh, never mind.
It's a compilation of some of the most popular mystery topics we've covered on this channel over the years, complete with original illustrations.
I think that might be ball lightning over there. Apparently it's still quite a mystery.
Some updates on some of the topics, and a few topics that I've never covered before. So we're making it available for pre-sale this Friday. That's Black Friday, the 29th. And the best way to get it is through the newsletter.
Okay.
We're going to have a crazy discount for newsletter people. We're going to announce it there first and take it wide later on. But if you want first access to it and a crazy discount, just scan this here QR code or go to thatjoescott.com/newsletter. It costs nothing to sign up. It takes like 5 seconds. You can always unsubscribe later, but that's where we're going to be first announcing it, and you'll get a big discount for it. We'll be making it more public later on. But anyway, I'm super excited to finally get that out there. Thank you for indulging me and letting me talk about it. But for now, I'll shut up. Let's get back to the missing 411 thing. So those are just a handful of stories. Like I said, there's hundreds of them out there. I think 1,400 at last count.
1,400.
So if you have a favorite one, feel free to share it down in the comments. And
that's a whole lot of mysteries
point
right
to a video to it. I don't mind. But it's led a lot of people to look for explanations and to search for a common cause. Some people see an organized group behind it involved in kidnapping, possibly human trafficking. Some blame it on mysterious unknown predators or cryptid.
Oh yeah, there wasn't this exact video turned out to be a hoax with some guy who was walking around in a gorilla suit.
Some, of course, see alien abductions. Others find more exotic explanations like mysterious energy vortexes or time slips or portals. One thing that all the proponents do tend to agree on is that whatever it is, the government's covering it up. And a lot of them lay the blame on the National Park Service. Which, I mean,
that's
you
interesting.
guys know I'm not a conspiracy bro or anything, but I could definitely understand why the Park Service would want to kind of downplay
Creators
any
came
risks
out and
that
said it was fake. Ah, there we go. I knew someone came out and said it was bogus.
paying visitors might face. And I think it's that sort of sense that something is being kept from us, you know, that helps fuel
Like the Epstein files, boys.
the wilder theories around missing 411. That, and the people who keep kind of pushing the idea, people like David Paulides. David Paulides is a former police officer turned author and filmmaker who began researching missing persons
Elite,
cases
welcome, man. How
in
you
national
doing?
parks after an
doing
off-duty
well?
park ranger suggested to him that something foul was afoot. So he dove into the subject and began to see what he thought were connections between these cases and similarities that were just too weird to ignore. He actually worked in the detective department at the San Jose PD back in the day, so to his detective nose, something didn't smell right. So he coined the term missing 411 and began writing books.
So that's where it came from.
The first one was published in 2012, which is actually a two-parter, one that covered the eastern U.S. and one that covered the western U.S. And then he just kind of basically just cranked out books every year after that until about 2020. In between books, he produced 3 different documentaries with his son, Ben Paulides, including Missing 411 in 2017, Missing
Okay,
411
interesting.
The Hunted in
Playing Killing Floor
2019,
2 pod.
and in
Good game.
2022,
Did he go
Missing
missing?
411 The UFO Connection.
Oh no, he went crazy.
Yeah, now might be a good time to point out that before he wrote the Missing 411 books, he wrote 2 books on Bigfoot.
So he was always a crackpot from the beginning. Ah, damn it. We got disappointed. We got baited. Blue-balled even.
He's always had a bit of a chubby for the woo-woo stuff. The fact that he's a former police detective lends him a lot of credibility.
Aliens got him? Could be.
But I should also
Maybe
point
that's
out
why he
that
stopped
in
writing
1996
books.
he was charged with a misdemeanor for fraudulently soliciting for a charity. Another way of saying that is that he scammed people.
Interesting.
Now, to be fair to David, you know,
Scammers and conspiracy theories go hand in hand.
writing a book about Bigfoot or researching Bigfoot, that doesn't automatically make you a quack, and I've always been a bit of a paranormal file myself, but I too tend to be more skeptical of people whose whole thing is selling a certain worldview or an idea.
If it makes them money, it's probably not true. If someone is telling you the wildest conspiracy theories and they want you to buy their merchandise because they monetarily benefit from it, something's afoot. Just saying.
Because there's just too much monetary incentive to ignore
Yep,
evidence
there we
to
go.
the contrary.
Monetary incentive.
And he has certainly created a cottage industry around Missing 411. And his methods and ideas have been questioned by skeptics. One of the first to really challenge the Missing
Skeptics
411
question
thing
everything,
was
though.
Kyle Polich from the Monterey County Skeptic Society, who gave a talk about Missing 411
There is a skeptic society? What? That's very strange. I didn't even know such a
in
thing existed.
2017, just as the
Is their
first
job
books
just to
came
be
out.
skeptical of
He
everything?
dug into the stories in the book and found that, you know, some information was left out, some details were incorrect, and pointed out that for a lot of these cases, while they may make creepy stories, they all have a potential for logical explanations. And he found that some of the wild connections that he makes are tenuous, to say the least. For example, in the case of Amy Bechtel, who disappeared in the Shoshone National
Believe
Forest
nothing,
in
quote.
Wyoming, Paulides found one amazing coincidence that he felt was really important to point out.
He goes on in this case to say Amy Wagner also went missing from this area in 2005.
Look, I'll help you figure what happened in that cave if you buy 5 10 coins.
Both their names start with an A, and their first names only have 3 letters.
I'm going to stop
That is a coincidence, technically speaking. That is a correlation, you know, that is a parallel.
short of calling Paulides a scam artist or a grifter or a BS artist or anything like that. He may truly believe in all this, but I will say that some of these stories just really don't pass the Occam's razor test for me,
Occam's razor is very based. It has never failed me. The simplest explanation is often the right one.
including the stories that I talked about earlier. For example, in the Dior Coons case that I was talking about a minute ago, a lot of attention has been paid to the parents, suggesting that maybe they killed him on purpose or
that's dark.
accidentally, but either way, they staged the camping trip just as an alibi. In fact, the sheriff investigating the case did name them as a person of interest at one point. Yeah, apparently it was a very unplanned trip. It was very impromptu, out of nowhere. They decided to do this thing, and while they claimed to have had Dior with them when they went to that store to pick up supplies, the store employees apparently didn't see him. Which does, though, beg the question of why they would have two people with them, unless they just needed some credible witnesses, but that would imply that Grandpa Bob and Isaac were in on it too. Grandpa Bob
Imagine the whole family getting together just to kill one kid. That's dark.
passed away a few years later, so he's not around to defend himself. Isaac has apparently maintained his story this whole time. Some have argued that their behavior and the way they speak in interviews after the event were kind of strange. I don't really want to go there because, you know, people grieve differently. Plus, there is a way to explain it in a way that absolves the parents, like the fact that Grandpa Bob, who was supposed to be watching Dior, he was showing signs of dementia. He may not have heard Jessica calling out to him, and he may have had no idea that he was supposed to be watching him. Also, Dior was 2 years old. Anybody with a 2-year-old knows they can get distracted and run away really quickly.
Talking about a family reunion, yeah.
2-year-olds do, so...
If it's 2, that's even worse. You never let a 2-year-old out of your sight, not even for a few seconds.
If he did that and ran off the path, there was a river close by. Like I mentioned before, that's one of the recurring elements in a lot of these stories. They often happen around water, you know, where people drown and get swept away. As for the Kenny Veach story, of course, explanations around this have been all over the map. Many have speculated that he did find the cave and what was inside kind of did him in, and that means everything from a cryptid to an evil Native American spirit to some advanced technological device or aliens. Its proximity to Area 51 doesn't help with those. Which, of course, if it was some kind of secret government thing, then maybe he was silenced. But Kenny's
He found the smuggle on a mud chat, boys.
ex-girlfriend came forward
And now he's been chained up, and he's forced to moderate.
with a very plausible, if sad, explanation. Her name is Sharon Pilgrim, and she commented on his in-cave video that she believes that, unfortunately, Kenny took his own life. She points out that his father left the same way when Kenny was young, and apparently he was having some financial difficulties. And maybe that's part of why he spent so much time hiking in the desert, was because he was really struggling with some mental issues. The fact that he left his camera behind says to her that he wasn't really going out there to find anything, that he was going out there to disappear, and that he left his phone at the mine so that nobody could track him. There's also the possibility that he maybe didn't end his life, but maybe disappeared and started a new one. Yeah, a weird addendum to this story is an event that happened in 2018 where there was a burglary of a Reiki center owned by his sister, Debbie Veach. It had to be a Reiki center, didn't it? Anyway, some believe, including Kenny's sister-in-law Susan, that the man in the CCTV footage is Kenny. He knew exactly where to find the iPad that he stole, and he even grabs one of his knees at one point, which is the same knee that Kenny had injured on a previous hike. Also, all he did was break in and steal the iPad, which is kind of weird.
That is usually something that you do if you're very familiar with the place. If you break into a place and you go make a beeline for a single object, 100% you've been there before, and you know what's on that tablet.
This story was covered in a video by the EWU Unsolved, where they interviewed her. It's also been covered by the Urbex Hill guys. You guys should check them out. Actually, there's a plethora of videos that have covered this story. But as Sharon Pilgrim is right, and he did decide to end his own life, this kind of makes me think of that Peter Bergman story that I covered a while back. Some people do go out of their way to just disappear when they decide to end their lives, kind of as a way to spare family and friends from having to deal with the aftermath. Which, by the way, this might be an explanation for a lot of the missing 411 cases. People go into the woods with the intention to disappear.
That's a very dark and grim reality.
A guy who did that. He went out to the woods by the side of a river, and he waited for the river to rise before he shot himself so that it would wash him away. It's certainly not a solution that people want for stories like this, but it's also definitely something that happens. So, the missing 411 thing is not new to me. In fact,
he's got the book.
I have the book.
He's got the book, boys.
This is one of the first 2 books. I said there was one.
He knows how to cite his sources.
This is the one for the Western United States and Canada. This was actually gifted to me by the very first fan meetup that I ever had in New York. This is way early on. There were only 2 people that showed up. But one of them, and I want to say his name was Marco. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. But yeah, he gave me this book.
Was it Malto? Caught? I see you, Malto. It was you.
So yeah, I've known about this for a really long time, and it gets requested a lot, like I said, but I've never really covered it before because, if I'm being honest,
wave.
I just don't think there's anything to it. I'm sorry. I just don't. Like, there's a phrase that I heard a while back about deep sea diving. It's that when you go into the ocean, you re-enter the food chain. And I think that applies to the wilderness as well. Like, we as a species have become like so disconnected from the natural world. We're so used to living in an environment that we built for ourselves and our own comfort and safety
Meanwhile, in South Africa, you get lions roaming the streets bi-weekly.
that we forget nature doesn't work like that. Like, yes, there are wild predators, you know, that can attack you, but also just uneven ground and trees with pointy branches you can fall on and poisonous things, and it's easy to get lost. There are no right angles like you're used to. There's extreme temperatures and a lack of water or food. There's sinkholes and fissures and ravines and rivers and nobody that can help you. Or sometimes there are people around, but they have bad intentions.
Yep.
And if some accident
That is also
does
true.
befall you, nature will quickly remove any and all evidence. I mean, serial killers don't hide their bodies in the middle of a busy street. They take them to the woods. The wilderness is beautiful, and nature is amazing,
They do
but
that.
it has its risks.
Source,
And
I
that's
watched.
part of the allure. And national
what's a
parks
guy-
are the most
Pretty sure his also
frequented.
name was Dennis. What was it? Damn it! What was the name of that the Netflix series with the serial killer? I forgot what it's called, but it was good.
Wilderness spots, especially by amateur adventurers who are not exactly survival experts. Like, my wife and I actually
It was like a
had a
psychopath
pretty
and something?
scary story ourselves. We went to Woodstock, Vermont in the fall a couple years ago. We wanted to see the leaves turn, and it was beautiful. But nearby, there was a national park called the Marsh-Billings Rockefeller National Park. I think it's actually the
Rockefeller spotted.
smallest national park in the United States. I should preface this story by saying there's really not a whole lot to this, but it still was freaky as hell. Like, we got there, and at first there was this nice paved trail we're walking along. It's like really wide. There's people everywhere. There were almost too many people there. But at one point, we kind of went off that trail. We had the All Trails map open, and I was trying to find an overlook spot that could look down on the town. It turns out
makes
when we got
sense.
there, the trees had grown up, so there was no vista, which kind of sucked.
Sad.
But I had this All Trails app on my phone, and I saw a little trail that would look like a shortcut to get back to the main trail, so we kind of went that way. But next thing you know, we didn't know if we were on the trail or not. All of these beautiful leaves that we went there to see had fallen and covered the trails. And on top of that,
Bring a broom when you go hiking or a rake.
somehow, like I said before, there were so many people it was annoying. Out of nowhere, we were just like all on our own. There were no people anywhere. We couldn't hear anybody. We couldn't hear a highway. It's like we were in the middle of absolutely nowhere. And then the sun started
scary.
going down. We were on one side of a hill, and the sun went down on the other side of the hill. And as soon as that happened, the temperature dropped quickly. It started getting dark really quickly. We
Damn.
couldn't find the trail, and the battery was running out on my phone, and it started to get really freaking scary. Eventually, I did find like the markings on the trees that indicated the trail. Still couldn't see the trail on the ground. We were just walking over leaves. But we started like moving really fast. The whole time I was thinking, please God, don't like twist an ankle or something, because like
Yeah,
there
if you
would be
twist
no
an
way
ankle,
to get
oof.
out of there. Thankfully, we finally did get to the main trail, and we made it out, and we were safe and everything.
Oh, thank
but,
goodness.
I mean,
Well, I mean, you made the video, so
there were
obviously
some
you were safe.
real Blair Witch vibes going on there. And again, this was the smallest national park in America, and I had a cell phone signal and everything. Like, we were going to be fine, but it still was pretty freaking terrifying. So
I
there's
never
a
want to be
map
lost in the woods at night, bro. Oh, that was scary.
that may or may not be in the thumbnail of this video, but it shows the locations of missing 411 cases overlaid on top of a map of cave systems in the United States. And they line up pretty perfectly. Now, I know
Actually. We got this big stretch over here. Okay, we got this over here. We got it over here. Got some down here. We got some down here. They actually do more or less line up.
this map has been criticized because it doesn't show all the missing 411 cases, just kind of the cherry picks the ones that are around cave systems, but still, that's a lot. But accurate or not, this map is a bit of a litmus test. Because there's a group of people that might see this map and say, well, obviously people are getting lost in cave systems. I mean,
That happens,
they're
I can
caves.
imagine.
But there's another type of person who
Y'all
might
ever played Minecraft? Ooh, boy, I get lost in those all the
see
time.
this map and say that it's proof of Bigfoot or some other cryptid that's living in the cave and feeding on people,
Man,
or
it sounds
proof
like
of secret
baloney.
government underground stuff, or that it's a parking lot for alien Tic Tacs or demons from hell or whatever it is they believe in. And I think that's what gets me about the missing 411 thing, because like, does
I went camping and hunting around 1 a.m. By yourself, or did you go with someone else?
everything have to be a conspiracy theory? Like, can't we just accept that it's a random, chaotic world and sometimes bad things just happen? Like, I'm sure if you made a map of drowning victims in California, you'll find clusters of them around beaches.
Actually, valid point.
What aren't the beaches telling us?
By myself?
If you put up a map of heat stroke victims, it would probably be a cluster
How was it? Was it Scary? Peaceful? Calming? Enjoyable?
in the Southwest. Well, that's just Big Desert trying to kill us all. I would make the joke that because most people die in hospitals, that there must be some kind of conspiracy amongst hospitals to kill people, but to some people, that's not a joke. They actually believe that.
Well, if you live in Canada, it's kind of true, considering the maid services that they offer there. Hello, I'm back. Welcome, welcome back. Hope you're doing well, man.
And yes, people are
Peaceful?
more likely to go
Nice.
missing in wilderness areas, including national parks. And each one is a tragedy. Each one is a family experiencing grief and loss. And Paulides' strongest critics might accuse him of exploiting and profiting off of other people's tragedies. And I don't want to completely go there. I do think there's an ethical gray area there, but let's just be honest, there's an entire industry around the true crime thing, so it would apply to all of that as well.
True.
I will say, though, as critical as I might have been in this video about David Paulides, he did suffer a tragedy of his own recently.
Oh, no.
His
What
son,
happened?
Ben, who produced the documentaries with him, he took his own life in 2021.
That's so sad. Damn. Poor dad. He must be devastated.
And that's awful.
Very
and my
sad.
heart goes out to the Paulides family. And David did kind of step back from Missing 411 after that. That might just be him grieving, but I can't help but wonder if maybe having experienced this loss himself makes him think a bit more about the grief and loss that those families are going through, and that maybe having this loss saddled with a conspiracy theory, maybe that's just not something he's comfortable with anymore. Or maybe he's just retired. He's well into his 70s now. But anyway, this video is
Could be
likely
both.
to split the crowd a bit. I know people who are into the Missing 411 thing are like really into it, but I try to be objective here. I wasn't kidding, by the way. There is so much content out there around this, from people who are way more skeptical about it than I am to some real wackadoodle. So discuss respectfully
You're gonna be
down below.
crazies
Feel free to share
everywhere.
videos from other creators. I'll link a few in the description as well. Share your favorite Missing 411 stories. I'm sure there'll be lively
Welcome back.
conversations
Yeah.
on this. But you know one conspiracy that is true?
The Epstein files?
It's how shaving companies all over the world conspired to fleece all of us with their overpriced cartridge razors. See,
True. True. And also, the makeup companies are scamming women. You don't need to pay $2,000 on beauty and makeup products. It's a scam. I've used the same bar of soap for 20 years and I still look handsome. But meanwhile, you use all of these expensive products and you look like a dried up grapefruit. You know, like a wrinkled raisin. One of those, what do you call them? You look like a date.
what they did was they sold a handle that was super cheap, and you think, hey, what a
Ad
great
kit?
deal. But the thing
Oh no, boys. Oh, do we have Adge? I am horrendously sorry, my liege. Sneaky man, yes.
is, you have to keep buying these cartridges to put on the handle, and sure, they started off somewhat reasonable, but two blades turned
He got us, boys.
two blades
He
with
got
a
us so
lubricating
good.
strip, then two blades with
Like
a
a
lubricating
brat
strip, and now
stove.
little shock
Yeah.
absorbers
Those are the
underneath, and now you've
scams
got 3
too.
blades, and then 4 blades, and 5 blades, and all these innovations just bump up the price a little more, and next thing you know, you're paying $5 for a
You could apply the same arguments to NVIDIA's GPUs. You're good? I'm thinking he's doing an ad. Yeah, he's doing an ad.
blade, $30 to buy a package of them. It's like homecoming mums in Texas. It's ridiculous.
Oh, can someone explain to me what the heck homecoming is? I don't understand. What is that? True RTX go burr. Yeah, RTX. You need, what was it, frame gen, DLSS, and all this other nonsense that people put in just to make a game run at like 45 frames per second.
Worst part is, they don't even work better. In fact, they work worse because we use them way past the point where they should be replaced because they're so friggin' expensive. Yeah, why shave with 1 dull blade when you can shave with 5 dull blades?
Hell
That's great
yeah.
for the skin. Thankfully, the people at Henson Shave
Homecoming is a tradition primarily celebrated in the United States and Canada where alumni and former members of an organization welcome back for a festive occasion. What the hell's alumni? It's a high school dance party? Oh. Interesting. Like, I've watched Spider-Man Homecoming, and that's pretty much my entire knowledge based on it. I know nothing else.
Shaving want to help stop that cycle. Henson Shaving is a hot little startup that's disrupting the shaving
Damn it.
industry by
Ad
basically
gay.
being giant nerds. And it's amazing.
Graduates?
They've invested heavily
Oh,
in
so when, like, the graduates come back and you guys throw them a party? Okay. We technically have something similar. Every year on the founding day of our school, usually people who came, who graduated that year minus 5, 10, Hey, Ant, welcome. Long time no see, buddy. How you doing, man? Welcome, welcome. Thanks for coming in. So like for example, in I think it was the 2019 when I graduated, I did mention that my English teacher. Yep, been a minute. It's been a hot minute. One of my English lecturers who went up on stage, and she was the 20th year reunion. So we're celebrating the school's birthday, and so all the people from the past who graduated 5, 10, 15, and 20 years ago in 5-year intervals all came to celebrate. And then, of course, they went up to the school bar and they got some drinks and stuff. There wasn't a dance, but, it was kind of a celebration. How you doing, man, by the way? Hello! Hey, Ant is, you guys might know Ant from Tomo streams if we ever, because we have sometimes raided Tomo in the past. Yeah, Ant is a chill guy, usually appears there. I'm doing fine, just fine, I think. Glad to hear it, man. Glad you're doing okay. How's Tomo been? Has she been doing good as well?
Groundbreaking research on the physics and physiology of shaving, and they've created a one-of-a-kind razor that's even better for your skin than the cartridge razors, but it does it with just one blade. And they've got the receipts to prove it. But all the aerospace precision and research in the world doesn't matter if you're not using a fresh blade. Henson's data suggests that over 80% of people shave with dull blades. Honestly, you should probably just get in the habit of putting in a new blade.
But I think just alright for now. Alright, it's good to hear.
And Henson feels so strongly about the importance of fresh blades for the health of your skin that they are now offering people free blades for life. For a one-time cost.
Free blades, boys. Free blades. What happened? I don't remember exactly, but I think she had some health issues recently. And I think there was something to do with one of her pets that was seriously ill. I think it was her dog. Yeah, that needed to go to the hospital or something. I could be misremembering and can confirm for me. Not sure if it's topic okay for stream, but I won't elaborate beyond that. You're more than welcome to talk about it on stream. I don't particularly mind. Yeah, dog needed treatment, yeah. She also, I don't know if you guys saw, but she did make a message in my self-promo channel talking about it, how she needed treatment for a cute little puppy.
Cost of $50. They will basically send you a blade per week.
For classifying life as a 50-year period of time. So if you make it to 51, boys, no more razors.
For 50 years. Seriously, for the amount of money you could expect to spend in the next 5 or 6 months on cartridge razors, you could go the rest of your life and never buy blades again. I want to make this extra clear. This is not a subscription that you keep paying into and they send you blades in exchange for it. No, you pay once and it's blades for life.
Hell
That's
yeah.
a bonkers deal, and they're an amazing company, so I do.
That's kind of a good deal, look at
that. By the way, the holidays are coming up.
Hell yeah.
A great gift. Just saying. Like, imagine
okay, well,
buying
someone
someone
landed into a hospital, very serious condition, so... Oh, no! I didn't know about that. Is that recent? I'm so sorry. My hearts and prayers out to Toma, man. I hope she gets better soon. It's so sad. Hope he gets well soon, yeah. I also hope Toma gets well soon, man. Definitely we're gonna be praying for her. That she'll be right as rain soon. Hello, situation. Hey man, welcome in, welcome in. How you doing, man? Hope you're doing good. Guten Tag, CT.
That's not only a quality razor,
yeah,
but
that's
the gift
recent.
of never having to pay.
She will live, but hoping and praying. Yeah, definitely, man. Hearts and prayers out to our dear Tomo.
For shaving ever again. Just saying. You can even indicate that it's a gift, so Henson will make sure to send the free blades to the right person.
Hell yeah.
So go to hensonshaving.com.
I almost thought this was the guy who played the original Hulk.
/saving with Joe, and you'll get a free shaving cream, even if you sign up with a free
say
blades
hello
for life
to Ant,
deal.
CT.
They're a great company.
I haven't
They
seen
have
him
been
in
an
a while.
amazing partner with this channel, so yeah, go check them out.
Bruce Banner?
thanks so-
Yeah, I literally thought it was Bruce Banner from the early 2000s one. Oh, why are you crying? Psst, psst. Come. Here we go. Shine, why are you crying, huh? Is nobody giving you attention? Sorry, my cat is crying. Oh. Here we go. You can have some nice rubs. Bye-bye. Okay, he's happy now. Say hi to the kitty chat. Hello. Psst, psst, psst. He's a good boy. Okay, he's going now. Happy cat is good cat. True.
Much for watching. If this is your first time here, I'm going to share a link to
He's
that
a very
Peter
good
Bergman
kitty.
video that I was talking
My
about.
cat
If you love
screams like
mysteries, it's a good
cinch
one.
when he
It's
wants
kind of a
attention.
sad
Yeah.
mystery. I kind
Mine
of gave
just
away the
cries.
ending earlier, but it's
But
a
he's a
great
good
story.
cat.
It's one of my favorite videos.
Yeah,
I've
he was
done.
he was a feral cat that we, I suppose, kind of adopted. So before we lived where we currently are, we lived in another house in like a suburb away. And like just one day, I was busy like chilling on my laptop, and God have squat in this metaphysical dimension, eh? And so this cat just walked through my window, just randomly, just a black cat, pitch black, just walked into my window, and just hopped on my bed and just stared at me, and then just kind of purred and just curled up onto me and just lied on my stomach. So I was like, oh, okay, cool, petted it, and so it was very friendly. Like, and it wasn't like a stray cat where it previously had an owner and then was, somehow ended up without one. It was just a feral cat that just lived around the neighborhood. And so, yeah, we fed him, gave him some food all the time. Same with my cat, his mom didn't him, so we took him. Shame, poor kitty. And then, so like the one day we came and we saw that his tail was just horrendously damaged. It looked like someone took a steel gate and just rode over it. Which was like, it was pretty bad condition, and so we had to get him to a vet to have, I think about 2/3 of it amputated off. Otherwise he would have died, from a gangrene or infection or something like that. And so, I remember when we put him in the little box to get taken away to the vet, he was crying for us, man. I had never felt so bad for the poor cat. And then he was away for like 2 or 3 weeks. When he came back, he did nothing but meow and try and jump on our laps to get some rubs. He missed us so much. And so we decided, okay, we're gonna move now. We can't leave him, the poor cat, defenseless. So we actually took him in, and now he lives with us. And so that's the story of how we got a cat. And so every day, so my mom usually gets up work at like 4:30, give or take. Every single day at about 4 o'clock, he sits on the wall and he waits for mom to come home. And then he follows us inside, and then we give him, some nice little treats. Still comes for food, ungrateful fish. But yeah, he's a really good cat. Although sometimes at like 3 a.m. he'll just come and lie on my stomach and, lick my face, which is kind of annoying when you're trying to sleep. But yeah, he's very cute. And also he steals chicken. I know I mentioned what color he is, but he really loves KFC. Like the one time, I got some chicken, and I was about to, I just wanted to fix something on my computer, to make space for my plate so I can, eat while I watch or something. So I put it on my bed for 1 second to move my keyboard. I turn around, and he nicked a chicken wing, and he just runs off with it. You dastardly cat! How dare you! So yeah, never leave food unattended. He'll nip it.
So if you like mystery stuff,
yeah, we love
him.
him. He's a good cat.
Or, check out any of the videos on sidebar or underneath, wherever you're watching it. Any of them have my face on them. Give them a look, and if you enjoy them, I do come back every Monday, so I invite you to subscribe. Big thanks to the Answer Files on Patreon and the channel members who are supporting this channel with their money and forming an awesome community. I can't thank you guys enough. And also...
But yeah, like usually when I'm eating food, especially if I got meat or something, when he comes into my room, so I'll give him a little bit of my chicken. I think Lovecraft's cat liked fried chicken too, caught, yeah. Fortunately, we didn't give him the same name as Lovecraft's cat, okay? We wanted to be a little bit nicer than that. So I think it was, he also loves biltong. Woo! Any sort of meat. He will sit down and he'll look at you in these pleading big eyes and just go, meow, for you to give him some foodies whenever he smells some meat. And of course, I always share and he eats it out of my hand. He's a good cat.
Any of you guys?
And whenever my female friends visit, they only visit for the cat. Like the moment they get to the door, they haven't even sat on the couch yet. I haven't even offered them coffee. They're like, "So where's your cat? I want to play with your cat." And then they go off. They find my cat, and then I get to sit on the couch all day just talking to my mom. It's ridiculous. Might as well snatch the chicken. Wait, we forgot to put it in the fridge. Scavenger perk.
You guys, if you're not watching on Nebula, I shared some extra stuff there. I always have a little extra fact that I sprinkle in at the end. And
yeah, I'm pretty sure my friends visit me either for my little sister or just for my cat. No in between. At least the guys, they're still homies. They'll come visit me to just play some games and have some food. Well, women do like cats more than ever, so I guess that checks. Copium, yeah, fair enough. But I mean, still, I like some company, as your hostess. I mean, as your host.
Without any ads, so go check out Nebula too. But that's it for today. You guys go out there, have an eye-opening rest of the week. Stay safe.
I'll link you guys the video.
Especially if you're in the woods. And if you're traveling for Thanksgiving, have a safe travel. Have a great, happy Thanksgiving. And
hostess, you said? That was just a slip of the tongue.
Love you guys. Take care.